Right now, we've got the Liberal Democrats, which have pledged to create a dad month to encourage more men to take paternity leave.
The party said it would increase parental pay for fathers and extends their entitled leave by 4 weeks in the event of an election win. So, should the other big parties follow suit?
Well, joining us now is the former Liberal Democrat leader and business secretary, Sir Vince Cable. Vince, thank you very much for joining us. Do you think the other parties should follow suit then?
Yes, I mean, when I was in government, we introduced shared parental leave. It's quite a big reform, and it's had a generally beneficial effect on the labour market. It enables women to work as well as have young children, and that's currently one of our big demographic problems. So it's an important practical step, and of course it depends on cost and it depends on the ability of employers to accommodate it. But yes, we should push the reform in that direction.
How much will the policy cost, do you think, Vince? You mentioned it there. Any idea? And how will it be funded also?
Well, I haven't come up with the policy in detail. I'm not familiar with it. But obviously, if you have more people working, you'll generate more tax revenue. Of course, while they're absent, they're not working and they're not paying tax. So it's quite a difficult trade-off. I would imagine that the fiscal effect is pretty neutral.
Now, what would you say? Because Ed Davey's doing a lot of things. He went water skiing and then just fell in the water 5 times. He went on some water slides. He ate some cake, didn't he? Or cooked some. He
did a bike ride.
He ordered a bike ride. And of course, he did that very emotional, I think, very lovely video with his son, which I thought was lovely. How well do you think he is doing, Vince, on the Lib Dem campaign?
Well, I think he's doing well in terms of our basic strategy, which is to concentrate on a number of target seats, which will have us much better represented in the next Parliament, to concentrate our resources there. But in terms of the wider debate, to try to draw attention to the fact that we're part of the competition. And he is doing these gimmicky things, but rightly, I mean, it's getting him attention. And sometimes, you know, they may seem like corny jokes, but they have a practical meaning. I mean, when he fell off the surfboard in Lake Windermere, it was to draw attention to the pollution of Britain's lakes and rivers, and that's a very important issue which the Lib Dems have actually led on. So I'm all for what he's doing.
Yeah, Vince, he certainly provided good value for a laugh, but latest YouGov polling puts, for example, Reform UK just 2 points behind the Tories at 17%. The Liberal Democrats, however, are on 10%, and not that far in front of the Greens on 7%. So are the Lib Dems now the fourth or even the fifth party in this race?
No, we were the fourth party in Parliament, and that was part of our problem. We were behind the Scottish Nationalists. I was leader at the time. We had a significant support in the country, but very few MPs. And you're squeezed out of the national debate. You rarely get called in Parliament, and Ed Davey is trying to correct that. I think by election day, we will have met our target of about 30 seats. It could be significantly more. Some of the polls show us, 40 plus. I mean, I think that may be overambitious. But, when that happens, we will get back to being the third party in Parliament. The national average numbers mean very little in the British context. I mean, I actually feel rather sorry for the Green Party. They've got this, 7% you say? They'll be lucky to have one MP. The whole voting system is completely distorted. The Reform Party are chalking up large numbers, but they're not going to win parliamentary seats, maybe 1 or 2. The voting system produces these crazy outcomes, and we're having to adapt our strategy to deal with it.
Vince, I'm going to ask you about Rishi Sunak on D-Day, where he left early. He said sorry. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it was the right thing to have done, and some credit to him for doing it. It's not very often public figures make unqualified apologies, and he did so. It was a bad thing to have done, and it showed some disrespect to national servicemen who'd given their lives. But he's acknowledged the mistake, and I think we move on from there. What is more striking is that he's still sticking to this ridiculous and discredited accusation about the £2,000 in taxation, which the national statisticians and the Permanent Secretary of the Treasury have dismissed as ridiculous, but he's sticking to it. And I think that is unfortunate, and it's dragging down the level of serious debate on economic policy.